Chris Alexander landed in Ottawa this morning for a briefing on the migrant crisis, but didn't speak to reporters who wanted to ask him about this interview, where many felt the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration refused to answer questions about the Syrian refugees.
Why did the government not act faster now?
I'm actually interested in why this is the first Power and Politics panel we've ever had on this. I've ever been in.
Late today, Alexander returned with answers.
What became so urgent overnight?
What we didn't know yesterday, Rosie, and I'm being perfectly frank with you here, is the nature of the Canadian connection.
Back in 2003, Alexander was Canada's first resident ambassador in Afghanistan. Scott Gilmore worked closely with him.
He had an incredible reputation for being someone who was fearless in speaking truth to power, whether it was Afghan warlords or senior officials and politicians in Ottawa.
Chris Alexander.
The Liberals and Conservatives both courted him. Alexander picked the Tories, entered cabinet, and proved an effective soldier, even interrupting a CBC reporter to complain about coverage of the F-35 fighter jet story.
And you better watch it, because the truth comes out.
The diplomat was no longer always diplomatic.
So-called
In 2013, Alexander was appointed Minister of Citizenship and Immigration. This spring, he talked about the government's appeal of a court decision to allow face coverings at citizenship ceremonies.
They don't want their co-citizens to be terrorists.
I thought he would be someone who would understand the plight of refugees.
But this lawyer, who fought the government on, among other things, the niqab and health care for refugee claimants, was disappointed.
How do we feel about a government who has turned a blind eye to the plight of millions of refugees in Syria?
Some Canadians have directed their anger about the little boy on the Turkish beach at Alexander.
We shouldn't be blaming the minister for the ultimate fate of those people that are rejected by the Canadian system. We can blame them for what the Canadian system does. We can blame them for the number of people that we allow in each year. But we can't lay that poor dead child at Chris Alexander's feet.
Some people who know Alexander say he's effective and principled, capable of great things. It's clear many Canadians will be watching him more closely now as he tries to manage the refugee crisis and get re-elected. Alison Crawford, CBC News, Ottawa.